It's fun being a professional environmentalist. Pretty easy gig, not a lot of heavy lifting. The best part is you don't have to apply any of the rigorous standards you set to yourself. You can berate the little people for their SUVs while being chauffeured to the private airfield in your Suburban. Al Gore literally does that, no exaggeration. Gore also lives in the single biggest house you've ever seen, and yet he's still deeply upset about your carbon footprint. Well, the latest fear in the environmental community is that poor people in hot countries in the third world might start using air conditioning. Can you imagine? Next thing you know, they'll be demanding canapes at Davos and crowding the beaches on St. Bart's. The insanity! It must stop. Josh Fox is a noted environmental filmmaker, and he joins us tonight. Josh, can you imagine if people in Bangladesh had the gall to use air conditioning, how upsetting that might be to people in the Bay Area?
Well, I think you're misstating the premise of the study that you're quoting.
I don't think so.
But before we get into that, let me ask you a question. Why would air conditioners cause climate change? I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying
I'm not actually saying that.
Air conditioners cause climate change.
Well, look, my mind is open.
Well, that's what your producer said to me when they invited me in on this segment, so I was assuming that that's what you were going to talk about.
I'm capable of speaking for myself, and let me just say that I'm totally open to any possibility. Turns out UFOs are real. I never thought that before either. So I'm happy to believe in climate change. You just have to answer my questions slowly so I can understand.
Okay, what's the question again? The question is, why would people in the Bay Area be outraged by people in Bangladesh having air conditioners?
Well, it's just interesting.
Actually, people in the Bay Area are not at all outraged by that. No one is outraged by that. In fact, the study that you are quoting said that we should look for more efficient air conditioners. That's pretty much all it said. It said if we want to look at climate change emissions, we should look for more efficient air conditioners?
Yeah, do you have a more efficient air conditioner in your car?
I have the air conditioner that comes with the car, but
not a more efficient one.
Okay, let's just go back and backtrack for a second here, because this is what happens every single time. You misstate the premise, and then I have to go ahead and correct you. So what's really at issue here is climate change, right? The study is talking about climate change and how air conditioners could make climate change worse. But the premise of the study is also, in my view, incorrect, because if you used something that actually cools the planet for your electricity, like wind, like solar, instead of using fossil fuels, you can actually cool the planet at the same time as you can cool somebody's house.
It's hilarious.
So you don't have to use
wind and solar
fuels.
Cool the planet. That's not true. But let me just ask you, let's get back to the facts here. Hold on. Let's get back to the science that you and I can agree on. So I want to ask you, you said that you're concerned that poor people in hot countries might get air conditioning that's not the most efficient possible air conditioning. And I asked you a really simple question, which is, have you made those same steps in your own life? Have you changed the air conditioning in your vehicle to become the most efficient possible? And you said, no, I haven't, but you want the Bangladeshis to do it, which leads me to believe that maybe you're a hypocrite.
I drive a used car, and I drive a used hybrid. In fact, I just got totaled on the streets of New Orleans by a drunk driver, so I don't have a car right now. But the bottom line is this.
But you haven't actually done what you want the Bangladeshis to do, and you don't have any plan to.
Oh, absolutely I have. Tucker, no, you're cutting me off right now, because I use a service where I can buy renewable energy instead of having to buy power from fracking or from coal.
You pay indulgences. Oh, I get it. So you get to have the things that the poor people in the third world can't have because you're rich enough to pay for indulgences.
No, Tucker, you're also again misstating the facts. It's cheaper to use solar energy than any other form of energy right now for electricity generation, except for wind. It's actually cheaper to use solar than it is to use gas.
No, but I'm talking about your personal behavior. You want to change the subject to some macro question. I want to ask how you're living, but you don't want to talk about that because you pay indulgences.
It's absolutely not about people's behavior. It is about the systems that are at work here. And this is a political question. This is not a question of consumer habits.
You get to lecture the poor people, but you don't have to change the way you live.
Well, I'm definitely not a rich guy. If you know what documentary filmmakers make, you should probably know that.
Well, relative to the people living without air conditioning in Bangladesh, you are.
What we're talking about is using fossil fuels for air conditioning. And what we should be talking about is how to use the most efficient air conditioning and the best power. The best power is renewable energy.
But you're not doing that yourself.
And that is, in fact, what the study says. Yes, I am.
But you're not doing that yourself, Josh. You're paying for offsets.
Yes, I just said that I was, Tucker. Tucker, you're not listening to me.
No, you said that your car
Tucker,
doesn't
the rules of physics apply to everyone, including you, which is presumably why you don't float up out of that chair, because gravity applies to you. Although, of course, you have so much hot air and bombast coming out of you that it's possible that you might just inflate and fly off the set. But what I'm trying to explain to you is when you burn fossil fuels, when you burn fossil fuels,
you beat me in the cliche contest. We're out of time. I appreciate it, though. Thanks. We'll be right back. Tonight we told you about how the FAA has changed and dramatically lowered its standards for air traffic controllers. That is an ongoing story that's a threat to this country, and we're going to stay on top of it until it changes. That's it for us.